here goes nothing. This is my mom's Makloubeh recipe. It's a Middle Eastern rice dish that literally translates to upside down, and you need to give it a try. I'm gonna make this recipe so easy for you, you're not gonna know what hit you. On a sheet tray, we're gonna toss on some cauliflower. With gloves, we're gonna peel down an eggplant, slice into 1/2-inch coins. We lay them out with the cauliflower, and then last but not least, you could peel down a potato, and then give them a slice slightly thinner than the eggplant. And then these get laid out to complete the trio. Keep in mind, you could get nice and creative and use other vegetables, or you could leave out a couple of these if you don't like them. But this is the one that I enjoy the most. I'm gonna spray down all the vegetables with a light layer of oil, give them a nice sprinkle of salt, and then these are gonna go into the oven at 425. Keep in mind, traditionally all the vegetables are flash fried. I prefer air fried or baking them, just because I feel like when you fry the vegetables, it gets a little too heavy. Plus, you can cook the vegetables all at once, and I like to make it easy for you. Now, for our protein of choice, we're gonna be using some chicken legs. It is up to you whether you want to keep the skin on. I'm gonna keep the skin on, and I'm gonna treat it as a protective layer for the chicken when it goes into the pan. I'm also gonna be making this in a non-traditional way because I feel like it's a lot easier, and we're gonna skip a whole bunch of steps. To season the legs, we're gonna hit them with a little allspice, a tiny bit of cumin, some coriander, a little turmeric gives it a nice bright color. Go light on the cardamom because it's very strong, and then we finish with a pinch of salt. I'm gonna give these a quick light spray, flip them to the unseasoned side, and then we're gonna repeat the same process one more time. Keep the seasonings that we use for the chicken out. We're gonna be using them later. For this recipe, you wanna use a large deep pot with a lid, and right when it's nice and hot, we're gonna go into the chicken skin side down. Try to have a single layer of chicken and not overcrowd your pan. With this step, we're caramelizing the chicken and building a nice fawn, and traditionally the chicken is parboiled then added, which I feel this way is so much easier. When they look like this, just give them a nice little flip. Chicken legs are nice and fatty on their own, hence why I like to bake the vegetables and use minimal oil. When the chicken is seared and nice and colorful on all sides, I'm gonna cover it and let it cook through for just a little bit. The vegetables took about 25 minutes at 425. I flipped them midway and they're cooked through, and they're just beautifully ready to get laid out. I love this combination because each one of these vegetables is a really nice sponge for all that flavor. Our first layer is the beautifully caramelized chicken. The next layer is gonna be the eggplant. We follow that up with our cauliflower, and then last but not least, the potatoes. Keep in mind, when I was layering everything, the heat was on low. Now that our pot is nice and full, we're gonna go in with some washed basmati rice. Give it a shake to equally distribute. This whole concoction gets covered in vegetable or veggie broth. Give it a couple taps so everything sinks, and we just bring this up to a nice boil. To season the rice, once again, going with the same seasonings that we used on the chicken, but we're also gonna add a bay leaf and a cinnamon stick. As soon as it starts to bubble and argue back, shut it up with the lid, and we cook this for about 20 to 30 minutes. You know what would be super awkward? If I finish the recipe, flip over the rice, and it's absolutely horrible. What do I do at that point? I can't post something horrible. I don't lie to you. So if I mess this up, do what I say, not what I do. But if I don't, do what I do. When this is done, you want to let it rest before you want to flip it. So just give it a second to set. Alrighty, here goes nothing. I'm going to be using a cutting board so it looks cute, but putting a nice wide tray on the pan works great. Slide the tray or cutting board on top. Alright, alrighty folks. You want to support the bottom just like this, and it's going to be one fluid motion and quick. Press down on this, and here goes nothing. Even farted. Just like that. It's nice and perfect. Tap, 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 tap. We're gonna let it sit upside down for just a minute. And for the moment of truth, we slowly lift. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Oh, I got stuck. You see that crust that's been developed? That just means that the pan was a tiny bit too hot. A little bit of vegetables, a little bit of chicken, and as always, now bismillah. That chicken is so tender and flavorful, and overall the rice is nice and fluffy, and it doesn't feel heavy at all.